What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. It is Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. I am your host, Phil, and this is Outside the Brand. Guys, usually today on Tuesdays, it would be ourselves with Anthony Murray, but he could not make it today, so it's just going to be myself and Loft. We are going to be talking about two AEW superstars that I feel can be the future of the company if TK allows them to be. And Waf, I hope you're ready to talk about them because we are going to be talking about the individuals known as Jade Cargill. I'm surprised I didn't get a reaction out of you. And Brian Cage.
I'm trying to hold my excitement.
Trying to hold that excitement in, huh? Aren't you?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to be talking about Jade Cargill, and of course, we all know she is a part of the TBS Championship Tournament that is going to be crowning the first ever TBS champion. Of course, that championship match to crown the first champion will be on the first episode of Dynamite that will be airing on TBS it's the first Wednesday of January. So we'll see that when we get there. And yeah, so she is actually going to be facing Thunder Rosa in the semifinals. That match has already been confirmed for 2 weeks away. So we will be getting that as soon as we possibly can for that. We also will be talking about the second individual that we are going to be talking about, which is Brian Cage. Now, we all know who Brian Cage is, and if you don't, I totally recommend you guys to just find him wherever his matches may be located. He was a part of Lucha Underground, and he was a part of Impact Wrestling. And during those times and when he was tenured on those shows, he was used as a big megastar in those two companies. So, yeah, I mean, he's just an amazing talent, so you guys should definitely go look at him whenever you possibly can. Now, Loft, he has not been used on AEW TV since the October 6th, 2021 edition of AEW Rampage, where he took on Ricky Starks for the FTW World title in a street fight. He's a super talented young man. He's at the age of 37 years old. He can be the future of this company if TK lets him to be. And we're just going to be talking about him along with Jade here tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us here on Outside the Brand. On your Tuesday night, it's 40 minutes after NXT went off the air. NXT, not bad tonight. I really like the ladder matches. The ladder matches were cool. Everything kind of in the middle. But hey, I mean, War Games is a Sunday, so we'll see two great War Games matches for there. You guys can continue to support the channel in any way that you possibly can by hitting that like button. You guys have no idea how much that like button actually helps out this channel. You guys can get this to 10 likes. That would be greatly appreciated. Anything that you missed on the channel is on the homepage, so go check that out. And also, you can follow us on social media with our TikTok links down in the description, and also with Loft's and Bash's MFN Right remix that is also down in the description, so you guys can go listen to that whenever you guys want to. Well, Jade Cargill, she's your profile picture. Brian Cage, you haven't really seen much of him because he's not been used.
Yeah.
Do you know about these? I know you know about Jade, but do you really know about Brian as much as people would? Or what's your thoughts on everything?
I know I've seen him a few times. Nothing really stands out to me about him at the moment. I guess I just haven't seen a lot of stuff of him wrestling, seeing that he's being underutilized. But I definitely haven't seen as much of him as I've wanted to. I've only seen him like 2 or 3 matches, and there was nothing really special, honestly.
Yeah. Now, Aiden, I do kind of want to talk about that before we get into the actual two superstars that we will be discussing here tonight on the show. Big Swole, who is a member, well, was a former member of the AEW women's roster. She has now officially left AEW. Now, this is a mutual parting ways. Things going on in her personal life got in the way of her being able to be used on AEW TV, and now Big Swole is no longer with us on AEW. Now, I had a feeling this was going to happen, mainly because Big Swole was not really used all that much in this company. She had her moments here and there, but now that she's gone from AEW, I feel like she can be a great asset elsewhere. It's just she just felt like it was time to part ways, and at this time, we have no idea. We have no idea what the future holds for her. Now, when it comes to her contract, like I said, it was just a mutually parting ways. So there's no there's no compete clause or anything like that. The compete clause, as far as I'm aware of, I don't even know if AEW has a compete clause, but as far as I'm aware, she can go wherever she wants. I mean, there's nothing tying her down. It was just a mutually parting ways, and now she's just no longer here with us on AEW. I don't even think Goff knows who she is.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah. So yeah, she had her moments, but at the end of the day, it was just kind of time, and she just needed to focus on her own life and part ways. So I'm gonna look to see where she goes, but is it really that big of a game changer that she left? Not all that really. Just hope that she can find work, and if so, maybe she can just spend a little bit more time with her. I believe they're still only boyfriend and girlfriend. Cedric Alexander is with Big Swole off. So
I was told that today. I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they can just spend more time together and go from there. But at this point, we'll just see where she ends up in the near future. So with that being said, I want to now Jade Cargill. The whole talk about Jade Cargill is mainly just catching up on where she's been at and where she's getting into. No, they are actually married. Oh, okay. I thought they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're actually married. So hopefully, hey, husband and wife can be together moving forward. But off the Jade Cargill thing, just want to talk about where she's at right now. She's a part of the TBS Championship Tournament, as you know, facing Thunder Rosa in the semifinals. Whoever wins is going to be at that TBS show in early January. Where do you think Jade Cargill has gone from here so far, and how have you liked her progression here in AEW?
I think they're booking her in a correct way, just as someone who is undefeated, but she's realistically undefeated. Like, she looks like somebody that you will have a tough time beating, and her matches don't go over with interference or anything weird, I guess. I don't know if she's a heel or a face. I think she's a heel.
She's supposed to be a heel, yes.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm always a big fan of heels winning in dominant fashion. I hate when heels have wins that they have help or interference, or I know that's the quote unquote heel thing to do. But I've always felt like if you are a bad guy, the most angering thing about a bad guy is him or her beating you straight up,
Right.
like no help. It's just you can't stop them. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yep.
getting someone else to help you or killing the ref and hitting him with a chair. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's made some amazing superstars that way, I've always thought that just the strongest heels win matches by themselves and win it in a convincing fashion. That's what she's been doing for as long as I've been watching. And I think she's the only person you can really give the TBS championship to, because if you don't have her with that championship, I think they should have her around Britt Baker's championship, because she actually looks like she can be somebody who can bring the company to the next level in the female division. She already has a look. She already. I know a lot of people have like some criticisms about her timing as far as her moves goes, which I always can understand. 'Cause I feel like everybody, you could be the best wrestler in whatever brand you are. You can always improve in something. So
Right.
take that as you may. But I just I really like her character more than anything, and she really looks like somebody who can run this women's division and run any women's division, whether it be Impact, WWE, wherever. 'Cause I just found out that when she I don't know if it was when she first started, but WWE offered her a contract and she declined it,
Yep.
which that threw me off. 'Cause I'm like, she must have really wanted AEW to be her landing spot, and I see why, because it's obviously a good fit for her. So I would hate for her to go somewhere else and be uh, treated as if she's not really good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Now Jade Cargill is 19-0 in 2021, and in her entire career here in AEW. She debuted in 2021, pretty much as soon as we were coming back to fans. Really, we were just slowly getting back into AEW, going back on the road here, and her first real kind of feud was with Red Velvet and Cody. As we all know, Brandy at the time, she was doing some things for the reality series for Rosa to the Top, and Brandy was not on AEW TV that often. So to kind of pair Cody up with somebody, or really just to give Red Velvet a chance to shine here in AEW, she got paired up with Cody. And honestly, at first, I was like, you know what, this could actually be really good for Red. And at the end of the day, it was. She got super over with the AEW crowd. She got super over with me. Luff, I know you're a big fan of Red yourself,
Yes.
so that partnership and pairing kind of worked for a little bit. And Jade came on in, and we all know that we remember the tag team match that Jade had as her in-ring debut. She was with Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq.
Yes. Versus Cody and Red Velvet. And that was her first win in AEW when she pinned Red Velvet. Now, ever since then, she's been in singles competition. That was kind of just like a one-off kind of thing for Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill, just to figure out where the heck she could fit in. And at that time, she really impressed. She really did. And obviously, with the way that she moved in the ring and the way they got her to continue her stride here in AEW, she's been on a roll. And she's been a part of this women's division for a little bit now. She is a part of this TBS Championship tournament. Like you said, she is undefeated. And she's in the semifinals against a woman like Thunder Rosa, who, no matter what happens, whether she wins or loses in the semifinals in 2 weeks, is going to be great for her. Because in a match with Thunder Rosa, you're automatically going to be made a star. Thunder Rosa is going to push her to the limit to get her to where she needs to be. And like I said, whether you win or whether you lose, a match with Thunder Rosa is a great thing for your stock here in AEW. Now, whether she wins or loses, I mean, that's up to Tony Khan and everybody else that's a part of this championship tournament to figure out. But Thunder Rosa is an amazing talent. We all know this. Do you think it has to be Jade Cargill picking up the win here over Thunder Rosa just to establish not only herself here in AEW, but just the TBS Championship and how prestigious it can be moving forward as we try to crown a first champion, rather?
I just think that you put the championship on Jade for two reasons. One, because I think Jade is one championship away from being really considered a top star in the company if she's not already. And I feel like Thunder Rosa is more on the Britt Baker kind of road right now. I feel like she needs to be someone who needs to be going back and forth with Britt at this point, because you can throw Jade in Thunder Rosa's position. Like, whoever loses the match, if you have like Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill, whoever loses, you can really put them in the whole Britt Baker situation. But I don't know what that would do for their characters, because both Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa's characters are very, very well like protected at the moment. So
right.
I don't know. They would have to immediately win, I feel like, so it's like it's kind of weird. So the best position at this point is to just give I don't want to say the lesser, but the one that seems like they have more of a straight shot to one championship, that is Jade Cargill. Like, the TBS championship for Thunder Rosa will be like, oh, it's nice to have, but her character already has centered around she wants to be the highest champion she can be in that division, So, not saying that Jade Cargill doesn't want to be the highest in her division, but she already has her name around TBS, and she's already building herself up as to be that one in the tournament. So I think it'll make the most sense for her just to be the one to win it. She looks like the one person that you would give that opportunity, and then whoever beats her for the TBS championship, whenever you do that, they're going to be beating undefeated streaks. So now you're killing two birds with one stone. You're beating undefeated streak and you're winning a championship. So that whoever is the one to beat them, you already gave them two incentives. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Now, like we keep reiterating, she is undefeated heading into this match. Thunder Rosa is, I don't know if you know this or not, but I did look this up. She is 29-1 heading into this match in her last 30 matches. 29-1. So she's pretty much almost on that same level as well. Thunder Rosa, and I know this might, and I know you're probably not gonna like this, but I mean, you guys, that I've been wanting the Thunder Rosa Ruby Soho finals match for the championship, with Ruby going over easily for the TBS Championship tournament. The only reason why I say that Thunder Rosa would most likely go over here in this is because of the one person that you even talked about earlier, Britt. Britt Baker can easily make Thunder lose in the finals to get to where we all think that it could possibly be at Revolution, or Battle of the Belts, rather. And that is Thunder Rosa taking on Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, where does that leave Jade? I have no idea. Maybe Jade could be in that first feud against a Ruby Soho in that TBS Championship tournament just to ultimately get to where she needs to be. Now, I think when it's all said and done, Jade Cargill is going to be a future women's champion in this company, whether that is TBS or whether that is the actual AEW Women's World Championship. There's something to be said about how she has been used in this company so far. I was not by her and I was not behind her a single second when I saw her at first. Mainly because I just did not think that she kind of just fit the mold here in AEW for the women's division. But then as I continued to see her laugh, she has impressed the living shit out of me. She has. And now that I can see where she's at, and now that I can see how much of an effort she really put into this and really put into this character with Mark Sterling, who's the manager that she is associated with, I'm not going to be shocked at all if Thunder Rosa says, "Hey, you know what? I need to put somebody over like a Jade Cargill to make this TBS championship mean something." Because at the end of the day, we are trying to push these newer talent over, and we're just going to try to see where everything goes from here. So, what are your thoughts on what I was saying right now and how I was trying to associate everything with for this championship tournament?
I mean, I think it makes sense. I feel like people with a character like hers, it's going to take a lot of really, really good writing because you don't want it to turn into something like like an undefeated streak that gets overpowered to the point where you are making them larger than life. You always want to have the people who, even if you have them on a huge win streak or undefeated streak, you always want to have that little bit of chance that they maybe could lose because that is what sells the match. That's what sells the match. If that's their favorite wrestler going against the undefeated, that's what makes people want to watch because
Right.
they just might beat them. So that's why I haven't really. It's been a long time since I have liked undefeated streaks, and there's only one undefeated streak in the history of professional wrestling that has been perfectly booked, and that is The Undertaker. Until
Right.
the end,
Yep.
until the end, I would say I didn't like how they ended, but um, I think that was like that should be the example for all undefeated streaks, having people that at the end of the day, Undertaker probably was going to win, but the fact that they knew how to build each match to like think that Triple H was going to beat him, to think that Shawn was going to beat him, to think that CM Punk was going to beat him, that is what sells tickets. You know what I'm saying? So with this whole Jade Cargill thing, when she gets out of this tournament, because obviously you have to be undefeated in the tournament, but when she gets out of this tournament and hopefully she becomes champion, you have to have people who not only in the match written, but I'm talking about like promo. This has to be an equal playing field. So it's not like she's extremely better than who she's fighting against, but whoever's fighting her has a very legitimate chance of taking her down just because she's worthy enough to be in the match. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
have to build it as if it is a 50-50 feud when it might not be, you know. But you don't want it to make it seem like she can just run through everybody and there's no point in watching the match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they do that the right way, then it'll be cool. Um, I really don't have any doubts that they will do it the right way, but only time will tell. So we have to see.
Now, I want to take a look at this championship tournament. I know we're kind of heading down to the wire here. We're gonna have our final quarterfinal match tomorrow on AEW Dynamite between Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho. Now, I mean, you guys already know where my head was at. I think Ruby could be going over tomorrow, but as we digress, it will be Jade versus Thunder in the finals. Not in the finals, it's semifinals in 2 weeks. We got Nyla Rose already in the semis when she beat Sheeta. And now it's just up to Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander to go up against Nyla when it is all said and done. So you think Jade should obviously go to the finals and obviously win this TBS championship tournament, but who do you think would be the person that she would be facing?
I honestly don't know at the moment. It can really be anybody here. So I'm
because it's either going to be Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander, or Ruby Soho. Those are the only three that are left in this on that side of the bracket.
Part of me wants to say Ruby Soho, but I feel like I don't know if I want her to lose that match because then I would want her to win. Cause I really like her too. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. This could really go any way.
And the thing is that that's what I like about this. That's what I like about this tournament. You can have it be like a Ruby Soho who finally got a championship in her career. If she wins this championship watch, this is her first championship in her entire career. Not just in WWE. This is her that would be her first ever championship. And she's been in in wrestling for over a decade. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, we all know how she was used in WWE, and they were supposed to get she, along with Liv Morgan, were supposed to get a women's tag team championship opportunity before everything kind of went to shit. So that could have been the first championship, but no, now this could be the first championship, and that's why I kind of want a Ruby Soho to get this championship because, hey, look at the underdog story that she's had all these years. Now, if Jade ever lost here, and here's the thing, if Jade ever lost in the semis or in the finals or what have you, first of all, it's only one loss. So it's not going to look too bad on her resume. Second off, the way that she's been presented already, it could be, she's almost been bulletproof. So it's like, I don't think it would really hurt her in any way to put somebody over, but with somebody as loved as Jade Cargill is right now by a lot of people, I just don't know how it would rub everybody in the right way or the wrong way, depending on who would be the one to defeat her in this tournament if she were to go down. So, what are your thoughts on that? Bulletproof might not be the right kind of terminology, but heck, the way that she's been presented, it's almost like it. Are you there, my brother? We'll wait.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It can go either way. I'm not sure if. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want Ruby to get attacked because she beat Jade Cargill.
Right. Yeah.
That's not something that I would want because she deserves the best too. But it's just I don't know.
It's a touchy situation because we all every single person in this in the semis and in the quarters heading into the semis and pretty much everybody in the rest of this tournament are all people that we like. Everybody likes the Thunder Rosa. Everybody likes the Jade Cargill. Nyla Rose, she's been up and down in this company, but people are starting to like her. Ruby is so beloved by everybody in this company that I mean, it's like it's like opening an amazing present on Christmas Day. You just never want to put it down. And then Chris Statlander, she impressed the living hell out of everybody when she had her match against Britt. So I mean, everybody in this tournament has a chance, and everybody in this tournament is beloved. So hopefully, at the end of it all, we can just see a good first champion, and hopefully we can just have this TBS championship progress into the prestige that we all hope that it could be.
Hold on, I can take a phone call. I'll be right back.
Yep, no problem. So yeah, guys, I mean that's pretty much everything on Jade Cargill. We all know where she is going to be in the near future, whether that is going to be in the TBS Championship tournament or whether she becomes the TBS champion, or if she can be a part of the AEW Women's World Championship division and try to figure out where the heck everything is going to align in that. But with all that being said, there are a lot of situations heading on into the AEW Women's Division. There are a ton of women that could still be coming to AEW, and whether that could be people like Ember Moon or any other person that kind of just got released from this company, like a Tegan Knox or anybody like that, it can only make this AEW Women's Division better. So at the end of the day, Jade Cargill is going to be on a roll. She has been on a roll, and she will be used heavily in this women's division because they are so behind her that she can just be used and be as bulletproof as she already has been. So it's going to be a good time. We're going to see where she lands up. We're going to see where she goes heading into this tournament. If she gets to the finals, that's great for her. If she loses to Thunder in 2 weeks, that's okay for her too. The thing is, just being in a match with Thunder Rosa is only going to help her because Thunder's going to push her to the limit, and at the end of the day, we're going to get a great match. We are. So we'll see where things go, and we just hope that this TBS Championship tournament can continue on the stride that's already been, because this championship tournament has been fantastic for its inception. So I think this TBS championship is on the right track of being a great secondary championship for the women, and we'll see where things go from there. I want to move on now to the big story, and that is Brian Cage. Brian Cage, we all know Brian Cage. If we don't, like I said, please go find matches of his, whether that's from a Lucha Underground match, whether that's from an Impact Wrestling match. Brian Cage is an absolutely amazing talent. He is 37 years old. He has been off TV since the beginning of October. Like I said, October 6th, 2021 was the last time that we saw him in a match against Ricky Starks for the FTW World Championship. And it was in a street fight on Rampage, and it was pretty damn good. You saw the potential that Ricky Starks has. You saw the potential that obviously Brian Cage has. And it's been a very, very up and down, bumpy ride for Brian Cage. Now, I am going to be going over his story here in AEW in just a little bit. I do want to have Loft back in here, so when he can get back in here, we will be going over Brian Cage. But guys, you guys can leave comments about Brian. You guys can leave comment about Jade. Leave your comments right now on these two developing stories, and I'll highlight them and I'll talk about them as we just wait for Loft to return. So go on, leave your comment. I'll highlight it, and we'll just talk for a little bit until he gets back. Aiden Acosta says push Brian Cage, and I honestly could not agree more. We will go over Brian Cage in just a little bit. Josh says that would be tough, Aiden. I don't know what you mean by that. Pushing a guy like Brian Cage is not really going to be all that difficult. He has the look that Tony Khan was looking for. Otherwise, he would not be here in AEW. So the fact that I think Josh said that it would be tough for Brian to be pushed, I don't think it would be if they gave him the opportunity. Oh, okay. Sorry, Josh. I misinterpreted your comment. You're saying about Brian versus Bobby, that would be tough. Yeah, that would be. That would be tough mainly because they're in different companies. But hey, I mean, Brian Cage versus a Bobby Lashley would be freaking insane. We all know how freaking dominant Bobby Lashley is, and Brian Cage, he is a man that, for a man his size, he can do a lot of really cool things. But yeah, and honestly, I thought it actually did happen at one point too. So, but yeah, so that gets sorry for the misunderstanding. But yeah, so once we get back into it, we'll talk about Brian in just a little bit. Now, Josh also says, imagine Brian versus Brock. I mean, give me my freaking money. That would just be absolutely amazing. It did happen in Impact. That's what I thought. I thought Brian versus Bobby Lashley did happen, and it obviously did happen in Impact. I believe it was a very good match as well. But now Brian is here in AEW. Lashley is still trying to do his thing in WWE. And we'll see where things go from there. I just think Brian can be used more. And I really do think that he can be something in this company if TK allows him to be. We'll go over everything in his story and what his wife said on social media over the past few weeks and months, and heading all into that. So we will go over everything in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Whew. Okay. Now, I would do a little intermission, but I do not have anything up here for you guys to witness until we are fully able to be back. Hey, that's just how we are here on OTB. We are just fully live. Brian versus Braun. As far as I'm aware, Braun is not really doing that much in the world of professional wrestling right now, so I don't think that would be a thing. I think Braun's just chilling, having a good time, crushing cans with his goddamn muscles and all that. So I mean, listen, I would never think of a match between Bryan and Braun would even be a possibility, but heck, I mean, if it actually did ever happen, why not? I mean, I think it would be pretty okay, but I don't think really TK has any kind of plans to bring in Braun Strowman. And if that were the case, I think we would have had that already, because Braun Strowman's compete clause is non-existent at this point. He can sign anywhere now. I mean, yeah, and yeah, Josh. I mean, you say never say never, and that's very true. That's very true. I mean, we don't really know what Braun has in store, if he even is going back into the world of professional wrestling. But Bryan versus Braun wouldn't be too bad, I don't think. But at the end of the day, we kind of just have to wait to see where the heck Braun is going to be in the world of professional wrestling when he does ultimately decide to come back, if he decides to come back. Bryan also beat Johnny Impact, aka John Morrison, for the Impact World Title, right? Yeah. So the man is a former world champion in any other promotion that he's been in. He's super talented. We all know that. So once we'll go over Bryan's story, because Bryan, he's a great talent. He's 37 years young. He knows his way around the world and his way around the ring. Sorry. But yeah, he can totally be something in this company. Like I said, if TK allows him to be. So yeah. What else do you guys have to say over here in the chat? Let me see if I missed any comments above. If I have to scroll up, I have to scroll up, but let's see. Bryan versus Keith Lee. When Keith Lee's non-compete clause is up, I fully expect him to be here in AEW. I would love to see Keith Lee in any freaking promotion, honestly. I think Keith Lee is somebody that can be a part of any wrestling promotion and succeed. A lot of people compare Bryan to somebody like a Keith Lee, a guy that is absolutely huge, but he can do things that normal guys his size can't do. And that's exactly what Keith Lee is. Keith Lee, he wanted to show what he can do. He wanted to use the arsenal that brought him to the dance to WWE, and they allowed him to do that in NXT. They did not allow him to do that on the main roster. They made him go back down to the Performance Center to wrestle like a big man, to wrestle like a Mark Henry, and look where that got him. Stupid nickname for Bearcat, and now he's not even here. Bryan, use what he was able to be used to get him to the dance, and just get him out there. I think Bryan versus Keith Lee would be great. Tony needs to do something with him. Him being Bryan, yes, 100%. I feel like Keith might go to TNA, while Impact. Like I said, he can go to any company and succeed. So I think wherever he goes, it'll be the right choice for him. we can see Keith versus Roman. I don't think we can see Keith versus Roman anymore because Keith is no longer in the company. If Keith was fired just to be brought back, that would legitimately make no sense. But I mean, again, that's what happened with Eva Marie, and Eva Marie got fired a second time. And Zelina Vega is another perfect example because she got fired and then she came back too. So I don't know. I don't know if Keith would be brought back. I think Keith versus Roman would be great, but I just want to see it. I don't care if he appears on Dark or Elevation. I just want him on an AEW show. Yeah. We haven't seen Brian since AEW Rampage on October 6th. So he's been absolutely missing. We'll see where things go from there, though. We will be talking about this story in just a little bit. You think Bray Wyatt is going to go Impact or AEW for Bray? First of all, it's either going to be one of those two. Second of all, I think with the way the landscape of professional wrestling is right now, AEW is really the best place for him. I think Impact would be great for him. I'm not even lying when I say that too, and I'm not even just saying that just to say that, just to give the other side of the argument. I think Impact would be a great fit. But if you want him to be on a big stage, if you want him to be a part of a crowd that will obviously gravitate towards him and just to be where people can really see him succeed, AEW is the perfect spot for him. And I think the best place to do it, the best place to debut him, is on December 15th. Winter is coming. And I don't even call it Winter is coming anymore. I think Wyndham is coming on December 15th. I think that would just be a perfect spot for him coming out of the snow. Just like Sting did last year in 2020 when he emerged on TNT. I think that would just be an absolutely amazing way to debut him, to introduce him to the AEW crowd, and hopefully we get to see it. Now, if he does go to Impact, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be shocked. And the thing is, at the end of the day, it's his choice. So we'll see where that goes. MLW is doing Azteca Underground, and they are bringing back LU OGs. So Brian might be a good fit there. Listen, guys, Brian's not done with AEW. I mean, Brian's not been released or fired or anything like that. It's just we're trying to figure out where he is. It's not like he got released or fired from the company. He's still here. So it's not like we need to figure out where the heck Brian is going to go next, because he's still here in AEW. And the contract's still underway. So yeah. Do you think he'll bring back the Eater of Worlds gimmick or just stick with the Fiend character? Listen, the Fiend is his creation, but they kind of marketed everything for the Fiend. So if he was doing something like the Fiend, he would have to do something different. Mainly because WWE owns the Fiend gimmick now, and they gave it to Alexa. So they're doing something like that. They obviously trademarked the Eater of Worlds stuff because that was their portion of his character. So he'd have to figure something out. But it's Wyndham Rotunda. I mean, the guy's a freaking genius. So he'd find a way in order to work something into it. I mean, he was already meeting with the guy that created the Fiend mask, so he obviously has something planned when he wants to return. My jaw dropped, and I saw jog for a whole 5 minutes when Sting came out at Winter is Coming. Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what could happen too if Wyndham was going to be there as well. Is Zack Ryder in AEW or somewhere else? Zack Ryder is in Impact as Matt Cardona, his actual name. He appeared on a GCW a couple of times, but he is officially signed with Impact Wrestling. So he's doing some great things over there. So yeah, and you're right. So is Kurt Hawkins, but as Brian Myers. So yeah, hopefully Love gets back in here soon. We'll talk about Brian and we'll get things going. He's just on a phone call right now, so we'll wait for him. Just continue asking me stuff, guys. No worries. We'll wait for him. To be honest, I thought Sting was gonna return to WWE to have a match with The Undertaker. Now, you guys know where my head was at with Sting and The Undertaker all along. The match that he had with Triple H the first time around, not the Hell in a Cell match, the first time, where it was the like the video package where it was like an old abandoned shack and like the distance was like thunderstorms and all that, and Undertaker was heading into the shack and all that. I fully expected that to be like a video package and all that kind of stuff. That kind of build up was meant for Sting. I really did. I think Sting versus The Undertaker at that time specifically would have been perfect. But then it turned out to just be Triple H. That video package where the shack came in and the thunderstorms and the lightning and all that, I fully expect that. And it obviously should have been meant for Sting. And it wasn't. It wasn't. It was just for Triple H. So it was a shame. And yeah, so that's where my head was at during that entire time when they had those video packages and promos, because that would have just been a perfect way to do Sting versus The Undertaker. But yeah, Sting should have won that match against Triple H. We all agree with you on that statement there, Josh. There's no reason why Triple H had to win that match against Sting at 31. And I mean, that's just it. There was no other reason why Triple H had to be the one to beat Sting in that moment. There's just no reason why that it should have happened in that way. No point in Sting returning if he was going to lose. No, I think Sting returning was fine. But if he was going to return, you should have just let him win, because there was no point of him having to lose that. So yeah, no, Sting returning wasn't the issue. Sting returning actually helped a lot in the company at that time. It's just they didn't do anything. They did do a lot of things. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They did a lot of things, but it was just a very terrible ending to where we all know Sting should have won. So there's that. Cena versus Brock Lesnar was something that you wanted to see. I don't know how I would have felt about that, honestly. I really don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, we did The Fiend versus Goldberg, and look how that turned out. I'm not saying Brock is pretty much like a Goldberg in any sense. I mean, even though the whole part-timing thing is pretty much there, but I just don't know how that would even really fit. Who would be the face and who would be the heel in that situation? Where would have things gone? Um, would Paul Heyman be with Brock, or would he would not be? Depending on where storylines fit, it would have been a very interesting match. I will say that, but I don't think I would have liked it. It could have been cool. It could have been cool, but at the end of the day, I just wouldn't have trusted WWE to do something with it. So that's really my only gripe on it. But yeah. Oh. Sorry, guys. Okay. Phil, when do you think WWE died? Well, I don't think WWE is ever gonna die, but I'll answer you as a point to where I think WWE kind of went downhill. To me, WWE started all going downhill all the way back in the year 20. I'd say 2019. 2019. There are some things in WWE to where I was just kind of falling out of love with the company. Some of the booking decisions were not all that great. Some of the ways that they treated their champions, some of the way they treated their talent was not always the best. There were some things in this company to where you see reports coming out, you see some dirt sheets coming out to where it was just not looking good over there. And as we all can kind of see now, as the years went by from 2019, it could have and it actually has gotten a lot worse. So yeah, I mean, 2019, I feel like to me, that was when things started to go downhill. But People can say earlier, people can say later. It really just depends on who you really talk to. But for me, definitely 2019 was the year. Year things started going downhill. Who should be Wyndham's first match in AEW? That I have no idea. I really do not. Wyndham's first match is going to be something very interesting to figure out. Whether that's an AEW or whether that's an Impact, we don't know. I feel like it definitely should be in AEW, but I really don't know. There are a lot of things that you can do with Wyndham. You can bring him into the Dark Order, have him with Brody's stable and all that. You can have him go solo. He doesn't have to be a part of the stable. You can have him go solo. My friend Lewis brought up, hey, imagine if they kind of just did the whole brainwashing of a Bryan Danielson kind of thing, and you can have those two go after the tag team titles, and really bring in to that part of the Wyatt family again. I think that would be fucking fantastic. But there are a lot of things they can do with Wyndham, I should say. So we'll see where it goes. Would you want to see Trish versus Sasha? Sign me up. Sign me up. Trish versus Sasha would be fucking fantastic. Sasha is, in my opinion, the best women's wrestler in this generation right now, in the modern era. In this current era of professional wrestling. And Trish is an all-time great. So there's no reason why I would not want to see a Trish versus Sasha Banks match. Do I think Triple H will ever make an in-ring return? Only if it's right. Only if the story makes sense and if it only is right for him. Right now he's still going through the cardiac situation that he had earlier on this year. It turned out to be a lot more serious than everybody initially thought it was. So he needs to recover. Bar none. He needs to recover, and then when he recovers, if he ever thinks that the story can't be right for him to be inside the ring again, do it. But he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be. He's the COO of this company. He does not really need to be in the ring right now. Just stay away until you're ready to come back. Man, seeing Batista returning, I just don't think that would ever happen. Batista returning is a very long shot. There are so many things in this company right now that would kind of prevent him from doing that. And at the end of the day, I just don't know where he would fit. I really don't. But he is still down. Yes, he is still down. He will never be back up again. So that's the reason why I would never see him return, is because he's down and he'll never be back up again. So we'll see. Edge will win the WWE title. Do I think Edge will win the WWE title? Yes. At some point, yes. He will have his final World Championship run at some point. I think that one point will be soon. Honestly, if you want me to be honest, I think he might be the one to defeat Big E. I really do. I think Big E wants the match. We all know that. Edge mentioned him. So I think it would only just make sense to have Edge and Big E go at it. And if Edge beat him for the WWE Championship, I don't know how people would feel about that. But hey, I mean, if it worked, it worked. And there you go. What brand will I run in 2K22? Oh, you're talking about the GM mode? I got no idea. I really have no idea what I'm going to be doing for the GM mode in WWE 2K22. I will be bringing that to you guys, but I got no idea. I really got no idea. Hopefully by WWE 2K22 and when that game comes out, we'd actually be able to find a way to get gameplay for you guys, and maybe we can have like our own OTB gaming channel or something, because I think that would be really cool to have an OTB gaming channel for you guys to enjoy. Am I hyped about the WWE 2K22 game? The way that they laid shit out, yes, I am, but this roster is gonna suck. That's the only thing that's keeping me away from this game right now is the roster. I'll be running SmackDown and burying Charlotte Flair. Wow, okay. Alright. So you're just gonna drag Charlotte to your branch just to ultimately bury her. That great stuff. Great stuff. Wow. I do kind of want to talk about Brian now though. I wouldn't want Love to miss the conversation, but yeah, never played GM modes, so this will be different for you. Listen, man, if you want to get a head start, I recommend getting SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 and do a little bit of a practice on there, because that's probably one of the best GM modes to ever even really play. It's either SmackDown, it's either SVR 08 or SVR 07, so you guys can go check that out if you must. You have it all planned out. Yeah, so go try to find SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 or 2007. Practice on there, because when 2K22 comes out, it'll be here for us to enjoy. All right, guys. We're going to be talking about Brian Cage now. We'll have to come in whenever he can. But Brian Cage has been off television since the beginning of October, like I said earlier. And this isn't the first time that something like this ever occurred for Brian. Brian's wife, Melissa Santos, took to Twitter in September to vent about how her husband was being used on AEW TV. And at the time, she thought that he has been poorly misused for the talent that he possesses. Santos did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and she talked about the situation at hand. Now, she said, and I quote, and I think I am his wife, right? And I'm spicy. I'm not going to be like, well, I really wish things were different. No. Fucking use him already. Like he is my husband and I love him. She continued to say that Cage is her favorite wrestler. And there aren't that many wrestlers like him in today's landscape of professional wrestling. She said that he should be used as like he was when he was in Lucha Underground and Impact. In those promotions, he was a top star. She said, and I quote, I'm not saying let's give him a championship or anything like that, but no, it's just like I want to see my husband more on TV, End quote. She then recalled to when he debuted in AEW last year. He was more dominant than ever, and he was just being used as a dominant figure like he was in Lucha Underground and on Impact. She said, and I quote, "Yes, I am biased. Like, he's my husband. I want to see him more. I want to see more of that." So I did get heat because of my comments, because I'm spicy. I'm very straightforward. I'm not going to just be like, I was, I'm not going to be like, I'm just gonna, I really wish, no, fucking use him already. Like, come on now. I got really spicy about it, and maybe I shouldn't have. Then he got all the heat for it. He didn't even say anything. I know, he got all the heat. Now, yes, um, there was a lot to unpack here, and when Loft does come back, I will read the quotes again to him. But Melissa Santos is 100% correct. Chris Van Vliet is awesome at what he does. If you guys don't know him, go find him. He's on YouTube. He's an amazing interviewer. I've never gotten the chance to meet him, but he is an amazing dude. He actually gave me the World Heavyweight Championship, the championship that you guys see me use on TikTok all the time. I won it in a giveaway of his. He works very hard at what he does, and I applaud him for asking the very tough question about the situation. I personally feel like she is right. They just need to use him. I mean, we all know this at this point, but we all know he's an amazing athlete. He does things normally a guy his size just can't do. He can go out there and he can grab the crowd and make the crowd get behind him if they were giving him the chance to do that. I shouldn't be seeing his wife on Twitter ranting and venting about how he's being used in this company. They should know how to use him. Just based on how he is alone. I mean, at the end of the day, though, guys, I mean, it's really unfair for him because at the end of the day, there have been so many people that come to this company over the past few months, and so many more people that are going to be coming over. It's hard for him to just get that TV time. And at the end, and before, guys, but before everything started happening, he was a part of Team Taz. He was a part of Team Taz, and he had a great mouthpiece in Taz. And they were using him quite well when he was a part of Team Taz, and then all of a sudden he kind of just went downhill when they separated him from the group. But at the end of the day, I think what he needs to do, and I think they need to give him a chance in order to do this, they need to separate him from all the rest of the big men here in this company. He needs to have some kind of it factor about him that draws people in. And I think that's why Loft doesn't really know him all that well. Or really can't get behind him because of the fact that he really doesn't have that kind of it factor to really gravitate towards him. So once he does get that opportunity, I think he will be able to get used more, and I think he'll be used in a better fashion. But until that happens, I don't know if we're going to be able to see him. Maybe they're just letting this. Maybe they're just letting the situation die down so that they can be using him. But until then, I don't think we're really going to be able to see him that often. But that being said, we should be seeing Cage more often because, guys, who was somebody that we saw last week on Dynamite that that we really didn't expect to see? Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn was used on Dynamite last week. If we can see Billy Gunn on WWE, not WWE, on AEW TV, we should be able to see a guy like Brian Cage. We should. So yeah. I think Brian will be used more at some point. I just hope that he would get the opportunity to do so. But I'm telling you right now, people have asked me all the time if there's anybody on the AEW side to leave, to go to the other side, to go to WWE, who would be the one guy that you would think would actually be able to do that? And guys, I'm telling you right now, that's Brian Cage. That's Brian. With the way things have been going on, I would not be shocked a single bit if Brian wanted out of his contract to go right to WWE. Mainly because, I mean, look at the guy, and then look at what Vince wants. Brian fit that perfectly. And if there's one person to go to the other side, and which is WWE, I feel like Brian Cage would be that guy to do it because of the situation alone. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I don't know where Loth is. But that's all I kind of brought to the table for you guys here tonight. Are we going to do an NXT review? No, Mo, we're not. We don't really do NXT reviews anymore here on this channel. That's why we have this have these kind of discussions here on Tuesdays. We kind of just talk about a certain superstar or two just to fill in the time and see where things go from here. But yeah, so that's what we do. But yeah, so WWE would try to bury Brian, though. Yeah, and the thing is, and honestly, Josh, I'm not even disagreeing with you on that. I think they would, at the end of the day, try to bury the guy. But it would not shock me one single bit if just because of the situation alone, he would leave AEW to go to WWE because he thinks that they would better utilize him over there. Would they use him better over there? Most likely not. Most likely not. But with the situation that they are already doing this alone for with AEW and Brian, it wouldn't shock me a single bit. WWE wouldn't even use Brian. Maybe you're right. But the thing is, we don't know where Brian is. He hasn't been seen since October, the beginning of October. So I don't like. So there's just been many things in this company for Brian to where we just don't know where the heck he is. It's a very, very strange situation. It really is. And yeah, so that's it, guys. That's all I got for you guys here tonight. Brian would be jobbing to Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Probably Probably, but at the end of the day, I just don't know where he's going here. I don't know where he's going. They're not using him in AEW. They probably wouldn't use him to the fullest potential in WWE. I don't know where he would go. Maybe he'd go back up. Maybe Impact, but the thing is, he's not released from the company. He's not released from AEW, so we shouldn't even really be talking about where he's gonna go because he's still here in AEW. So it's not like we can even really say anything about it. All they have is NXT, and that's up to Triple H. No, it's not. It's not up to Triple H anymore because Triple H doesn't even run that goddamn brand anymore. Triple H does not run NXT anymore, and that's Vince. That is Vince and Bruce. If anybody thinks that it's run by Triple H still, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. He is no longer in charge of NXT, like Josh said. You didn't know that, Mo? Why do you think NXT 2.0 exists? That's Vince and Bruce. That's not Triple H. That's not Triple H. NXT 2.0 is not Triple H. I'll be right back. I gotta get my charger. I'm almost dead here. So hold on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, now we're back. No, Vince did not get jealous over that NXT was better than Raw and SmackDown. Vince got greedy. Vince saw that when we were a part of the Wednesday Night Wars with AEW and NXT, over the I think it was like 76 times that we had AEW and WWE going at it for NXT on the Wednesday Night Wars, over 60 times during the 75, 76 times that they were going head to head on the two different times for the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW won. So Vince said, hey, you failed. Triple H, NXT, you failed. So I'm taking over now. I'm taking over. Obviously, your brand is not working out. So he's punishing Triple H. He's punishing Triple H in the way that he always was. And now this is all Vince's fault. And Vince, you're putting NXT down even lower because we're not even getting 500,000 viewers for USA and NXT 2.0 and NXT 2.0 episodes. So really, he's destroying Triple H and NXT and everything about it. And that's where things are. But yeah, guys, that's it. Well, it sucks that it sucks that Loft wasn't here for the second portion of this chat. I think this is a very informative chat here tonight. We learned a lot about the Brian Cage situation. So yeah, if Loft wants to learn more about the Brian Cage situation, he can watch this episode back because we're about to get going soon. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. If you did, make sure to hit a serious school issue. Oh, no problem, nonetheless. My God. Yeah, please handle that. But But like I said, if you ever want to listen to the Brian Cage situation, just go back and listen to this part of the podcast because it would be great. Because I think you'll be very well informed of it. You're still on the phone. Jeez. Okay. Take care of that, man. You have nothing to worry about. Join us for episode 100 tomorrow, as we will be doing our AEW Dynamite review right here on the podcast. If you guys liked what you saw tonight, if you guys liked what you heard tonight, make sure to hit that thumbs up as hard as you possibly can. I am looking right now on my secondary channel through my phone to see if we did hit that 10 like threshold. If we did, great. If we didn't, that is okay too. It looks like we're at 6. So if we can, guys, I know there are some people here in this chat right now. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. I think with everything going on right now, with everything going on with OTB, we are about to hit episode 100 tomorrow. Episode 100, and we're on the road to 500 subscribers. Outside the brand is killing it right now. I think we are probably, like, in my mind, I think we're probably one of the best podcasts on TikTok. And I mean, that might just be my bias. But hey, it's but hey, I mean, you gotta like what you do here, right? So at the end of the day, I hope with things going on right now, we can help you get to wherever you need to be. If you use this as an escape, if you use us to get your wrestling news, or just if you just don't watch the shows anymore and you use us to help you stay afloat in the world of professional wrestling, we thank you for that. We watch the show so you don't have to, or if you don't want to, you guys can always come here and you guys will always get the best kind of possible review for you guys here on the show. Use this podcast to keep up with WWE. Hey, I mean, there you go. That's exactly what we do this for. And we're all really passionate about this business. I think we all know that. I've been passionate about this business since I was 10 years old. So, and I hope to one day be working for something like this. And the thing is, guys, that this isn't going to end anytime soon. We're on episode 100 tomorrow. I don't plan on stopping this. We might be in different situations. We might be in different places. We might not all get to see each other at some points in time, but that doesn't mean I'm never going to stop this. We're going to find a way in order to make this work, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. We're going to find a way to make this work, and we'll see where things go. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell to all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. You guys won't want to miss episode 100. You guys are not going to want to miss it. It is going to be an absolute spectacle that you guys just aren't going to want to miss. So I'll see you guys over there tomorrow. We'll see you guys there. And at the end of the day, we're still going to be riding with this thing, y'all. So be prepared, stay tuned, and cheers to 100 more episodes in the future and more things to come. So we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Have a good night. Take care.